1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition, episode 17 of the All You Can Hear podcast. I'm joined by my co-host Cody.
Hello.
And Wenzel.
I'm an adult, bitch.
Colt.
And Cold, I guess. That's the podcast
What's up, guys?
Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all this bit that I was going to do before the podcast started, during right now in the beginning of the podcast, but I didn't want to spring it up on you in case you all said no and it made for really awkward audio. So here's what my idea was. My idea was I'm going to be like, so do you guys want to be visited by Carolina Reaper? And I was going to bring y'all out some Carolina Reaper jelly to eat on the podcast. But then I was like, that's torture. Y'all would die.
No, that would be bad.
Oh, please no.
That was my whole bit. I had literally planned it in the car today. I was also a little perturbed, so I'm like, I want to take out my anger. I want to make the boys eat some Carolina Reaper jelly.
So today's topic
It's peppers. No.
is school stories.
Yeah.
Back to school as there's actually I didn't realize it's so weird how going back to school starts because it seems like it starts in like the most southern and they go back at like the first week of August, and then the more north you go, it's like after Labor Day and stuff like that. But a lot of people are in school right now.
Yeah,
we all start classes next week, or if you're listening to this today, it came out. Me, Colt, and Wenzel already started.
Not yet for me.
Oh yeah, Colt got the true Tanner schedule. God bless his little baby soul. But we're here to talk about some of our favorite school memories, school stories, anything pertaining to school that's not stupid.
Wait a minute. Everything
stories.
Not stupid in the sense like one time I made an A on a math test.
Oh, okay.
I'm stupid that's smart. He made an A.
Yeah.
I want to start with the story.
Okay.
Because I have a story. Senior year of high school. And I should also know, we all went to the same high school, so we all know everybody. Obviously, nobody's going to be named here, but we all know, we're not talking about different schools here. We're literally, at some point or another, at least two of us were in the school together. Yeah. Because, like, me and Cody were in school together, and then us three were in school for a year together.
I couldn't escape Wenzel.
Yeah, Colt and Wenzel have been joined by the hip since 9th grade. But anyways, story. Senior year. Math class. I don't even remember what math it was. Pre-calculus, I think. And I had a friend in there, and we had to do this online component for the class, and you had to make a username and a password for it. Well, our teacher was like, okay, just make your username, your first name, last initial, and a number. And they were like, just make the password the same, because who's going to hack you? It's a math website, whatever. And somebody in our class, not going to say who, made their username their name, but then made their password Ultimate Warrior Sex Destroyer. And then I remember the teacher being like, blank, this is very inappropriate, because she could see all our passwords.
Yeah.
And she was like, make a normal password. And it was all caps, Ultimate Warrior Sex Destroyer. And it was very funny, because he was very embarrassed. Because I guess he thought she couldn't see the passwords, even though she explicitly said, don't make the passwords anything not safe for school, not safe for work.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and makes it Ultimate Warrior Sex Destroyer.
That was the fucking worst story I have ever heard of.
That's a good story.
I heard this story from multiple people, even the person whose password it was.
Let me tell you the story I got real quick.
Well, it's not even your story.
It's not even my story, but I'm going to speak on Jonathan's behalf because it's funny as fuck. And it's something. So Jonathan, at this point in time, Jonathan was going, and everyone knows Jonathan. Jonathan, if you don't know, if you're just new to the podcast, Jonathan is sort of the ethereal fifth member of AYCH podcasting group. He comes in on some episodes he's not.
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Is Jonathan on the podcast?
Wait, no. If a tree falls in the woods, does a bear shit in the woods?
What? That's not.
No one's there.
Fuck. Okay.
I want to know how you think that saying goes.
So, Jonathan had graduated high school, and he was actually going to Shelton State Community College, which is right down the road in Tuscaloosa.
It's funny how I say no names and Cody goes, "This explicit place."
It's a fucking community college. Anyways.
Cody starts naming people.
So Jonathan is going to goes to the bathroom, and Jonathan likes to sit on the toilet, and he likes to sit on the toilet and he likes to play games.
If Jonathan's active in our Facebook group chat, we know he shouldn't.
pretty
Straight
much,
up, because that's the only time he reads and answers it.
Pretty much, Jonathan tells us. He told this story to me, it was really good story, and
Cody just ends it there. just know it was really good.
Jonathan's he's sitting on the toilet. And he hears just a crowd of people come in the fucking bathroom, like kick open. He said it sounded like someone kicked open the fucking door. And he's sitting there on the toilet. He's like, "Uh-oh, what's happening?" And so, what do you do? Like, we've all been sitting on the toilet when people walk in. You're like, "Oh,
who's shitting?"
Jonathan's ass feels so bad, apparently, that these people declare, "Oh, who's shit?" in the middle of the bathroom, and Jonathan is real distressed at this point.
God, I just want to preface this by saying, if something bad happens to one of us in the group, it's gonna happen to Jonathan, and it's so unfortunate. But it's like it makes for really good comedy on everybody else's behalf.
Jonathan ended up. He was just sitting there and he didn't know what to do, and so we just sat there and let it happen. Was it then that started happening? I'm trying to remember his story.
Well, the reason so many people came in there is because I think they were touring the school. I think he said it was a bunch of middle schoolers. I believe
middle schooler, high schoolers.
Middle schoolers or high schoolers.
It's probably high schoolers.
Yeah, no, and Jonathan said they started knocking on the door where he was shitting. And Jonathan kept yelling at him that he was like occupied, and then they started
fucking beating on the door. The door started shaking, and he was like occupied. just real fucking distressed while he's trying to shit.
We talk about shit so much on this podcast.
Well, I swear to God,
all you could hear, #1 shit podcast on the internet.
And Tanner, I can't remember.
And what happens next, he describes as, oh God, I don't even remember what fucking movie it is. But he says, all of a sudden, a wave of spitballs.
300?
It's like the 300, like the arrow scene in 300, I guess. A wave of spitballs come over the bathroom door, and he just starts getting pelted by all these middle schoolers spitting spitballs at him.
I don't think
it was like wet paper towels.
It was wet paper towels.
It was wet paper towel or whatever.
But they just started your story, Jonathan, if you ever listen to this.
Yeah, Jonathan can come back a year from now and tell us the story in its entirety. But and Jonathan was also invited here, so no. But it's funny because keep in mind, this isn't like after hours. This is like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday or whatever. Like, this is during school hours.
Jonathan's just trying to shit.
And Jonathan's like, I'm pretty sure he was in class. And he left class to poop.
Oh.
And the fucking... Anyways, that's Jonathan's story right there.
Well,
God,
Jonathan has so many good stories.
He has so much bad luck.
Another really good story is this past semester.
Oh, no.
Okay, so it was raining outside because it rained a ton this last semester. And we went inside the big Ferguson Center at UA, and we were about to eat lunch. Because me and Cody had class together. And so we just walked in there. Jonathan was in there, and Jonathan was like, cool, I'm going to get something to eat. And Jonathan, where does he go? Chick-fil-A?
Tanner and I had gone to Panda Express.
Yeah, we went to Panda.
It was an express line.
Yeah.
And Jonathan went to Chick-fil-A within the Ferguson Center. And so he was a little bit behind because there's usually a larger crowd there.
Yeah, so me and Cody are sitting at a table waiting for Jonathan, and Cody is facing towards like all the food lines. My back's to it. And I hear Cody go... Oh shit! Here comes Jonathan.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me preface it. I gotta go back.
Okay.
So, I'm sitting there, and I gotta sit down, and I noticed that the wet floor sign. It had been raining, and water. People were tracking in water because we were over there by a door, and there was a wet floor sign up. And so I'm walking, and I almost slip a little bit.
Oh yeah, Cody almost slipped and literally said.
I literally said. Jonathan's probably going to fall on that.
Jonathan's probably going to bust his ass.
And I said that. I called it.
Boy, guess what happened?
I was like, hey, here comes Jonathan. Boop, boop, boop.
It wasn't even that. It was just a boom. Because he dropped his tray and everything.
Well, he didn't have a tray. He had a bag of food.
Oh, yeah. He had a bag of food and a big cup of whatever. Dr. Pepper, I guess. Dr. Pepper goes everywhere. Literally spreads more than any contained liquid I've ever seen. I don't think he could have made a bigger mess if he opened the top and just poured it on the ground. Like, I swear to God. And
he falls with this big, like this. It's a thud on this concrete building, and he's like, "Whoa!"
yeah, he just goes, well, shit. and like, kudos to Jonathan. He wasn't embarrassed by it. He just took it in stride. I would have dropped out of school that instant. It was still early in this. Well, I say it was early. It was like March. It was right before spring break, I think, or might have been right after spring break.
Most friends would be like, I would make sure they're okay and then start laughing. No, fuck that.
We knew Jonathan was okay. We immediately started laughing, but we knew Jonathan was okay because he also started laughing. I don't know if it was the I'm very embarrassed laughter or who else but Jonathan?
No one else saw.
Yeah, it was crazy. No one else saw, but it was funny because like a second later, because we moved tables because a worker came over there and was like, y'all need to move to the table behind you. So we moved to that table, and the reason we had to move is because there was just a fucking puddle of Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper was spreading. It was taking over the fucking world.
It was crazy.
It was breeding.
Yeah, it was.
Apparently, Dr. Pepper is made from rainwater and shit and dust on the ground.
Yeah, and dust because everything turned into Dr. Pepper. It was kind of crazy. But wow, this is just a Jonathan cast. Can we just tell Jonathan's story?
Jonathan's story.
Yeah, we all have Jonathan.
We'll do that we'll do a birthday thing for him.
Yeah, we'll do that in May.
But
fuck.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, Jonathan's always just had the worst luck throughout all of our years.
It's so unfortunate.
I mean,
I would say I have the best luck. I'm just bragging.
You need to knock on wood right now.
I don't know. Every time, like, just notice, every time, like, I brag about this to Abby a lot, I have a lot of fucking good luck, and I don't give a fuck.
I'm not sure if it's good luck or we just... I feel like good luck doesn't exist, but bad luck does.
My thing is, like, it's like, I'll be up here, like, life's going good, good luck, and then it's like, boom, rock bottom. Like, I have the very hill and valley-esque with luck.
Unfortunate events happen, and in my world, I just like, well, there's no bad luck, just there's no good luck, it's just a bunch of bad luck, and if it's going good, it just means that there's no bad luck happening.
I mean,
maybe.
Sure.
I mean,
I don't even know if I followed that train of thought.
I don't know what you just said.
You said luck a lot.
Look.
Luck?
I think I'm God.
Well, calm down.
I'm coming to you on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Preacher reference.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance, watch Preacher on AMC.
Oh, hashtag ad. But
Colt, you guys
y'all have school stories? Yeah, y'all just got out of school, so
yeah.
I mean, y'all should have the most recent and fresh memes
You're gonna have
stories.
something funny.
The thing is, I wasn't the most talkative person in school.
Sure.
So I don't really have many stories, but I have one from 3rd grade.
Yeah, let's talk about
I've told this a few times, not that many.
on the
times.
podcast.
No.
Oh,
No.
I'm like, I hope you haven't because I don't remember.
It's not even a funny story. It's just a story.
Or just tell it. It doesn't have to be funny. It's educational. That's
Okay.
why we're the back to school special. Don't do drugs.
All right. Well, it was 3rd grade. I was going to the bathroom because I really had to go, but I couldn't go to the current hall's bathroom because it was blocked because some kid probably smeared poop on the wall.
Sure. As they did at our elementary school.
Our school was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was gross.
Oh, I got another story.
But since it was blocked up, I had to go up to the not third grade, the kindergarten hall to use the bathroom. When I did that, I went to the bathroom. There was a butt-ass naked, like, 5th grader. I had no clue who he was. I saw a teacher wiping his chest like he had something spilt on him. He might have been a special ed kid. But I got out there.
I should not have started this story.
As soon as I got it, I looked in there and I was like, oh.
Something you don't expect to walk in and
I ran all the way back to class and told nobody.
Shit, I have another school
Y'all,
story.
I have one that's very related to that.
I actually, yeah, okay, you go on.
One time, this guy, we're gonna say his name was Brad.
Okay.
Brad.
Cody's like, that's his real name.
Brad. We were in like elementary school, and one thing I remember walking in the bathroom. I had to pee. I went pee. I got out of the bathroom. I was washing my hands, and I just hear the laughter from behind me, and I'm like, "Oh, did I poop myself?" It was weird.
How old were you?
Like 7.
Oh, I thought for some reason
I
thought you
shit
said
myself today.
No, but for some reason I thought you said 7th grade,
No.
and I'm like,
no.
What a weird thing to be concerned about when you're 13.
I was 7 years old.
Okay,
and I hear this laughter, and I turn around, and this was right after lunch, so all the classes were going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
and this kid has his wiener tucked between his legs,
Christ.
pointing behind him, and he's turning around backwards and looks like he's shitting in the urinal.
Jesus.
And everyone's like busting out laughing and pointing at him, and we're all just like, and I'm just like, uh-oh, I gotta get out of here before this gets weirder. And
Before this gets weirder.
the fucking janitor walks in and thinks he's shitting in the urinal. The janitor comes in. And he's
Well,
like,
if somebody's face has their ass pointing to the urinal, what would you
and
think?
you gotta remember, we're in elementary school, and we're also in Alabama, and like Central Alabama. This is
So
actually,
we're allowed to shit in the urinals.
It's allowed.
It's the law.
So the janitor comes in, and he goes, "Boy, what the hell you doing?"
I remember the janitor, and I can see him doing that.
The little dude, it just kind of flops out from underneath him, and he's pissing on the floor.
I'm just getting memories of all
I
this.
just walked the fuck out. I can't take it. I don't know what happened to that poor child. All I know is that he's really in World of Warcraft now.
He's the best WoW player in the world.
Just a quick question: does all the like messed up stuff that you remember from elementary
Have
school
to do with shit, yes.
have
Yeah.
to do with the bathroom?
Yeah.
the
A lot of it, yeah.
That was a bastion of freedom for an elementary school kid.
I think it's a part of life that you have to go through. But did anybody else get peed on while they're in the bathroom?
No.
Okay, no.
'Cause
But I remember that.
This kid, he went from one urinal and he peed on the back of my pants. He went around me into the.
How old?
I was like 5.
What?
6. It was like kindergarten, first grade.
Oh my god, no! My worst bathroom experience, Winsley. You can tell yours after this. I'm sure you have one. My worst bathroom experience was first grade, and I had to pee so bad. So keep in mind, I'm like 6, and I had to pee so bad. I'm like, I'm going to use the big boy urinal. And granted, I was a tall child, so like I could get up in the urinal, whatever.
Yeah.
So I went to pee. Well, anyways, and it turned out I don't know what it was. Maybe a thread from like my pants or my underwear or whatever was in front of my dick. So when I went to pee, it just went everywhere.
Nice. I've done that last year.
But like, well, yeah, but this is even more embarrassing because listen to how I try to cover it up. So pee went all over my pants because I was just like, I gotta piss, I can't stop because at 6 years old, you don't have the power yet to do that.
You don't have the power.
You don't get it until puberty. Everybody knows that. It's common sense. True. But so I'm pissed everywhere, all over my pants. This podcast is going to reach a very specific demographic. I feel like. But I pissed everywhere, and like I remember looking at my pants as a 6-year-old, being like, "Shit, what am I going to do?" Also, keep in mind, I couldn't speak properly until I was like 7, so it's probably more like shit. But anyways, so what I do, I'm like, okay, I got a plan. I was a smart little kid. I've been the same smartness for like 16 years now. But
smartness.
Yeah. See?
Me smart.
Me is smart. But so I go to wash my hands. I'm like, here's how I'm gonna make this better. I start splashing the water out my pants to be like, oh no, the sink exploded. I go back in the classroom and I'm like, Miss, what's your name? I'm like, the sink in the bathroom was just gone. I was like, it exploded. It was crazy. And like, obviously she knew I was lying. You
know what? I would have believed it.
No.
I would have
No, because I'm pretty sure she also called the janitor to go check.
She probably smelled piss.
Well, also smelled pee because when I was a kid, I drank a bunch of like sweet, as you do in the South, sweet tea and milk. Your piss doesn't smell that good when that's all you drink.
It was like rotten.
It smells like rotten shit, but it's out of your dick. And it was just so bad. She was like, I think you need to go home.
This is the episode I hope our future employers never listen to.
God.
I might recommend skipping episode 17.
Okay, this is like...
Hopefully SoundCloud will go down before that's the case.
This is like first grade, and does anyone remember that one movie animated about robots or some shit?
iRobot. No.
No,
Robots.
Wall-E?
Robots. It's called Robots.
It's called Robots, and it's like...
Oh, yeah.
Well, they made a cereal for it. It was like...
I had that cereal.
I had the cereal too. Fucking loved it.
You told me the story
Had
recently.
like a holographic box, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It did.
yeah, and I remember eating it that
remember that
morning.
cereal?
I was like, "Fuck yes!" So I go to school, and then my stomach starts hurting. I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I'm like, may I go to the bathroom? I remember like me being like a little tiny ass kid, essentially running to the bathroom because I had to go. So I go, and next thing I know, it's literally green shit just filling up the toilet. And then next thing, but then
I hope Wenzel's story's just like he had diarrhea.
it is diarrhea. But then I just started throwing up on myself. I couldn't stop it. Like,
This is a ringing endorsement for the robot cereal, by the way.
so I ended up throwing up on
It
myself.
made me poop and throw up everywhere, but it was awesome.
There was fucking cereal bits all over my crotch area. It was bad. Green diarrhea, green puke because it was like the cereal was like purple and red, so it mixed to like make a greenish color. It was awful.
Dookie ass green brown.
Yep.
Jeez, okay,
Yeah.
that's enough.
Wait, so your story was gross. We just talked about peeing on ourselves.
Well, I was able to clean myself up. The janitor, I remember the janitor coming in there. I was like, man, he's gonna have a fun time cleaning that up. And I go home, and I remember another thing that made me happy that day was that my mom got me a new pair of underwear, and it had fucking Pokemon on it.
Dude, fuck yeah.
It had all the evolutions of Charmander and Ash Ketchum on it. I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. And I got like some sweatpants. I was like, this is great too. So yeah, and then, and then I went.
Wenzel's like, I gotta go shopping when I poop myself. It was awesome.
Wenzel has the reputation of telling the fucking worst stories.
That was an awesome story.
It was a good
That was
story.
a good story.
But still,
No, it's not that Wenzel tells bad stories. It's just like, here's a story, and then it just ends.
Well, no. Whenever I was thinking about these other stories to tell, I was thinking like, should I really tell them? Because it just sounds like, oh, here's a story, and there's like no build up or anything whatsoever.
I like
There was
how-
a lot of build up there.
I really like how Wenzel could have ended it with, yeah, I just threw up all over myself. But he's like, but guess what else I got? I got underwear that day. I got Pokemon
underwear and
underwear,
sweatpants.
and I got sweatpants.
It's funny.
yeah.
That's not that bad because, like, I mean, if you've ever had the stomach virus, that just happens sometimes.
Well, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I've done that
Oh.
to myself as an older person.
Well, I actually I went to the doctor right after, and they said you had food poisoning. It was probably that cereal. So
the robot cereal's never coming back. Don't ask for it.
Y'all, let me tell you, it's probably in South Korea or something.
Surge robot cereal.
oh, the Oreo cereal.
Yeah.
That's already out.
I know.
Oreos,
Let me.
which
tell
is a
you,
great name, by the way. Okay, go on.
I was speaking on the same level as shit story.
Are we just gonna get progressively grosser for the next like 30 minutes?
No. What ended up? I was in first grade, and my teacher, Miss Toffee. We're gonna miss Toffee.
Toffee. What the
Miss
fuck?
Toffee. She.
Could have just said Miss Lady.
I was like, hey, she was like one of my favorite teachers, and I don't understand why this happened. I was like, hey, I need to go use the bathroom. I raised my hand. She was like, Cody, you gotta wait. You need to wait. You need to wait like 15 minutes while we get this over with.
15 fucking minutes. That's a lot.
We were like,
Especially
sitting there,
asking from an
and
8-year-old.
My belly was like, oh.
Yeah, like
And I was like, oh no, and we were sitting around the circle because the reason why she did it because we were
This
sitting.
was
in a,
last year, goddamn.
no, this was.
Cody, you a grown ass man in college.
It was first grade, and I remember because we were sitting in a U shape and we were doing some sort of activity, and I was like, I really gotta go. She's like, you gotta wait, and I was like, uh-oh, and I felt it grumbling, and next thing I know, I let out a little fart, and a little poopy comes out, and, I'm like, and my little 7 or 8 year old brain was like, well, it's already over for me, and I just
Don't tell.
myself.
Why?
why?
I just let it all.
Nobody's gonna listen to this.
I
We
let
can
it-
start naming names at this point.
I let it all go. Just blow it out my asshole. and I wouldn't typically. This is a really crude episode. I wouldn't typically.
You think?
I wouldn't typically.
That's why I eased us in with the sex story.
My teacher.
Wait.
What?
The Ultimate Warrior sex
Oh,
story.
oh,
okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay, I was like, we're going
No,
there.
no.
we going to that part. Ongoing investigations. Anyways,
No, God, no.
But the teacher obviously knew something was wrong with me because apparently I went pale. I went pale in the face.
And you were covered in shit. So
I realized that, and she was like, "Cody, do you still need to go to the? Do you need to go to the bathroom? You can go." And because it wasn't 15 minutes, it was like 3 minutes.
thanks, bitch. I'm already covered in all this shit. Thanks for telling me
I
now.
actually say that the back end of the fart comes out as I'm covered. My asshole is covered in shit.
Come on.
And you just hear the plopping noises. And the teacher's like, Cody, And she like says, "Cody, can you go to the restroom?" I was like, I just walk out and I start crying. I just start crying. I shit myself and I'm crying. And the teacher comes out and she's like, "Did you poop? Did you use the restroom?"
No shit.
I was like, And it's like, she was like, "Do you?" Because she was like, "Do you need an extra change of clothes?" And she was like, "Well, if you use the bathroom yourself, you do." I was like, "I want to go home."
Oh.
And I ended up, and the teacher was like, "Well, I'll call and get you a new pair of clothes." And so she called my mom. And got my mom was coming with a new pair of clothes. And I was like, "I really just want to go home. I really just want to go home."
I mean, at that point, yeah.
And at that point, I realized now that I'm older, I was like, usually they just let people get an extra pair of clothes and then get dressed back up and they go back to doing their business. Mm-hmm. I realized at that point that teacher told me, "No, you can't go to the bathroom," and I ended up shitting myself. If I were to have told my mom that, then she could have gotten some trouble.
Well, it's insane. We're all telling these stories about the bathroom. It is so damn hard to go to I feel like I had an easier time like getting permission to go use the bathroom
you're a good boy.
in elementary school than I did in high school. Like I feel like they trust like a 6 or 7-year-old more than like
which is funny.
17 or 18-year-old.
Which is
Tanner.
funny. I don't know if I could say it now, but it's like you would think that kids were more problematic when they're younger because they just,
absolutely not the case.
Oh no.
They don't smoke crack when they're younger.
Oh,
they don't spit dip
that's
on the
true,
ceiling.
But it's just funny to think like they teach us to be adults in high school, but it's like, you can't go to the bathroom.
But here's your bathroom pass.
Yeah, or you can't go to the bathroom during my class. Which
you can only use the bathroom 3 times a semester.
Which now that
some teachers did have that rule where they were like, you can only leave my class 3 times in a semester.
which now that I think about it, that kind of pisses me off.
I mean, if somebody would have like pissed or shit themselves and like weren't allowed to go to the bathroom, and that's a huge lawsuit.
You know what? I'm gonna piss myself right now.
Hold
can
on.
I go to the bathroom?
You're in college
Tanner
now.
said no.
You're in college now. I like to imagine Cole just in a college classroom. He's like, "Can I go use the bathroom?" They're like, "Yes." And Cole's like, "I'm going to shit myself. I'll show you." And they're like, "Excuse me, sir. We said you could go."
But
what now? And Cole just leaves.
Like I never thought about that, but yeah, it's like our high school was like, you very rarely they'll let you go to the bathroom, but I do remember some teachers were like, pretty relaxed.
I mean, yeah,
but it was just like a lot of teachers like really stuck up ones, and I'm those bitches.
I mean, I get it. Kids,
I get it too with problematic kids because I mean there was one time in high school I remember we had this math teacher. This is my sophomore year, and she taught geometry, and she was such like I'm a good little lady. Don't say party. That's a cuss word. Don't say. Yeah. I'm pretty sure she said don't say fun. I don't remember that. That may just be PTSD for me. But I remember she was like, don't do this. Don't do that. I remember one time she had a girl's bathroom right by her room, and there was smoke coming out of the bathroom. And we were like, "Miss, your name. There are girls in that bathroom right now smoking." She was like, "Not my problem." I'm like, what? I'm fucking
you should
big
have said,
talker.
"There's girls in there having a party."
Yeah, which pulls out a gun.
Did you just say party? Shoots the person who said party. Instead of going in there after girls' lab. So they can party all they want, just don't say it.
But no, and she was like, "Well, that's not my problem." And then I remember a girl in our class was like, "Well, you're always so against it. Why don't you go stop those girls from smoking?" She was like, and she just like stayed quiet and didn't do anything. She's
afraid of getting beat up.
That's true, because she was a very daintily woman. And I also remember, she was just a weird person. Now that I think about it, like, I remember, like, the way I learned the quadratic formula is because she sang it.
Which I know you
to a bunch of 16 and 17
and like
year
she
olds.
sang it like she was in a choir.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Which I know you're talking about, and every story I was told about her, she's like really weird.
Yeah, she's a weird lady.
Yeah, but no, I was just gonna say about.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say about kids. Like now that I think about it, that it's true. There's some problematic kids because I remember going to our new bathrooms and immediately looking up at the ceiling. Somebody spit all over the fucking ceiling. It's
and
everywhere.
In the sink,
and so they had to put up a sign that says, "Don't do that."
Yeah, and I'm like, the kids that will read the sign aren't the ones spitting dip on the walls.
Yeah,
and like
those people can't read.
I've never seen the appeal of tobacco because personally, I was taught as a child it's rude to spit in front of somebody. The whole basis of tobacco is spitting constantly. You have a spit bottle and you just go like every minute and a half. It sounds like a fart noise because you have to spit it very specifically to get tobacco out of your mouth.
And you're like, oh, that person's drinking a Mountain. No, they're not.
No. Why is your Mountain Dew brown? Did they bring back Midnight Black?
Oh, God, I'm gonna throw up. Don't talk about that.
Which
shit.
I mean, if you do, you know, I mean,
No, go fuck yourself.
I'm not against anybody
Well,
dipping.
well-
I just find it as a gross concept.
probably the people like the adults that we know probably are way more respectful about it than the kids. At
Oh,
the
no,
high school.
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
That's
Hell
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Like, if you're an adult that dips, whatever, you're not spitting
Get
on
you a mud jug.
Yeah.
Discount code. Never mind.
What the fuck?
Hashtag ad. No, but, yeah, I mean, adults aren't going around. Most cases, there's not adults going around like, I'm going to spit my dip everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to mark my territory like
Yeah.
a damn wolf. And start.
Which I don't like. That baffles me about kids.
Yeah.
But that gives me another story about the bathroom. I remember at the very first elementary school that I went to, I remember there was like this huge thing where they were like, they had to like round us all up, and they're like, okay, quit. Like, nah, she didn't say quit question, but she was like, question. Now you can tell me who was smearing poop in the bathroom
Oh my god! I had it exactly. I was about
on
to say that.
the on the wall, and
Let's
I
just be honest. Do we all have a smearing the poop on the bathroom story?
Yes. Yes.
it was just so funny. And then that was not the only time. Whenever I had
Winslow goes, 11th grade happens again.
I moved. Well, fuck, man. Now that
that really did happen when I was in high school.
Well,
Somebody
no.
had smeared shit on the wall.
Well, no, I was a. This is senior
Wait,
year.
you're pointing to yourself like that was me.
I did it.
No, this is senior,
I am the shit smearer.
this is senior year, and I remember going into the guys' bathroom and shit. I remember going to the toilet and there's just shit like on everything.
This whole podcast.
I was about to say, this isn't even school stories. This is just like, what weird bathroom stories
And
do we
then-
have? Let's talk
and-
about shit.
And then there's a less worse one where it was like I go in there and there's just piss all over everything. Like when I went to go grab a toilet paper to wipe some of it off, there was piss on the thing that had the toilet paper. I was like, fuck. Like he wants to make sure nobody can do anything to this bathroom stall.
He was very advanced in his planning.
There's been a lot of times where I walk in the bathroom, I'm like, did you just fucking explode? Like, did I hear-
Somebody here died.
did someone's lower half just blow up in here? I actually have a story
I have a fun story too after Cody's.
that doesn't have to do with poop.
Yeah, mine's
Yeah, I
not
was
poop
gonna
either.
say we've been talking about
okay.
shitting for the
Okay.
past 20
Oh,
minutes.
God.
32 minutes.
Holy literal shit.
The
I
shit
can't
episode.
remember my story anymore.
Oh, okay. I can tell mine real
Go.
quick then while you remember. Okay, so you know in 5th grade they show you the puberty video.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
the sex
yeah.
ed video. And they separate the boys and the girls. I remember with ours was really weird because like here's some popcorn, here's a goodie bag with
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
that too.
deodorant
Yeah,
and
me
shit.
too.
And I remember somebody because there was only while I was there's more now, but while I was at the elementary school, there was only one guy teacher in the whole school, and he was a 5th grade teacher, and they show it to you in 5th grade. So he was in there with all the guys, and you know it just showed you. I don't remember what the sex ed video called, but it essentially just taught you that penis, vagina, sperm, and you're gonna grow, and you're gonna want to do some stuff, and maybe you shouldn't.
Now that I think about it, that
But-
video was really awkward.
Yeah,
Yeah, talking
and-
about
but-
when's my penis
but-
gonna get bigger?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they had a little kid ask like the narrator of the video, "Why is my penis so small?"
Why is-
I remember because he was
yeah.
playing basketball with his older. Wow, that was a weird video.
Yeah.
Anyways, but one of the kids, swear to God, raises his hand and goes, "Mister, what's your face?" He goes, "Instead of a condom, could I just wear a full rubber suit and have sex?" And our teacher was just dumbfounded. He was just like, "Well, technically, yes, but there's no, you're essentially," he literally said, "You're essentially a doll at that point." And I remember being like, who would have sex with a doll in 5th grade? 'Cause
And their
They
dinner
didn't-
is today, fucking his daughter.
it just cuts to me, 10 years later, and I have my anime waifu doll in the corner of my bedroom. But no, I remember thinking, like, I even remember thinking in 5th grade, like, you dumbass. Like, first off, you know how expensive a rubber suit would cost? That was molded specifically to your body for your erection? Because if you wanted to have sex with somebody in a rubber suit, it's not like your dick could penetrate the rubber and... I don't know. It was a very weird
Tanner's
question.
like, the economics behind this are just way too...
I mean, really, you're just smarter investing in condoms.
I think this is 6th grade, which this is kind of short because I don't remember exactly what was going on, but Timmy was doing.
I don't know
was
what
ve-
Timmy.
I love him.
We were talking about Timmy before this.
Oh, Timmy.
Oh.
Timmy.
Oh, shit. Is this the story?
No, not that
this
one.
is a
But this
different
was
story.
this was kind of. He was doing some shit in the class. I don't remember, but he was a very emotional kid, which every kid, I guess, going to middle school
Timmy. Haha.
was a very emotional kid. And that's
Colt's pointing at himself right
and
now.
that's something funny that that you don't think about.
What are you
is that,
doing
like,
with the sticker? This isn't an ASMR podcast. Put it down.
I was just putting a sticker on his face.
All right, you hear that? You like that sound? Oh, welcome to the ASMR. This week we're sponsored by
This is the sound of a sticker on my beard.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, rub that shit on there.
Okay.
Anyway,
Wait, so you made it weird?
he was doing some shit. He was a missionary kid because sadly nobody tells you that the teachers from then on, like guy teachers, they probably are going to be sarcastic most of the time, and none of the kids get that.
Yeah.
So
That's where I learned a lot of my humor was I had 2 teachers in 8th grade that had like such dry senses of humor and like very office oriented. Like,
Yeah,
you could tell
yeah,
They probably
I'd-
watched like Always Sunny. That's where I actually got a lot of my humor. I didn't watch like The Office or Always Sunny till like years after that.
same, I know
go
what you're
on.
talking about, but yeah, he said something, and I think, but then again, this might not have been sarcastic. I think he essentially called the kid stupid.
Yeah.
And he got like he started screaming, crying, and then Miss What's Her Face, who's super short and doesn't coach there anymore at the middle school.
Okay.
I remember her coming in there, forcibly removing the kid out of the desk and dragging him like from the classroom through the hallway, and him screaming and crying.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is history class. This is the first period in the fucking morning. Who does this?
It's 8:30. Like, how do you even have the energy to do that? I remember one of the worst fights I ever saw was in middle school. I was in 8th grade, but it was 7th graders fighting, and I had an elective in the 7th grade hall, so that's why I was there, and it was incredible because there was only like 12 8th graders that saw it, and we were all just like, let me tell you the spoken word brothers. We saw this crazy shit. But no, it was these 2 girls. They were just like, I've never seen people hit each other this hard ever. They were just like beating the shit out of each other. This one girl grabs this other girl by her ear and just starts wham, wham, wham against the lockers. I'm like, they go in for the kill. And then we had Mr. In 7th grade science teacher, tall guy, pretty big guy. He was used to be a football coach. He may be a football coach again. I don't remember. But literally had to like, he went in. Because it was like 2 tiny girls, and they were just beating the shit out of each other. He's like, somebody's going to die if somebody doesn't stop this. He literally grabbed them and like had to put them on their, like, one on his shoulders, and another teacher had to come get the other one, and one of the girls was just bleeding like out of the side of her temple, and the other girl had the one girl's weave in her hair and went, haha, bitch, I got yours. And I'm just like, oh my god, these 12-year-olds are nuts.
The only time I've ever seen the only time I can think of that I saw a fight on in high school was these 2 dudes. They apparently had a rivalry and they wanted people to know it. And so they would always announce that they hated each other at all times.
That's my favorite part about school fights. Like, we're fighting at 3 o'clock in the parking
They both
lot.
had the same name. Well, I'll just say that. They
Okay.
both had the exact
Did
same
they
name.
fight them? Like,
And I think
were they the same
and
person?
honestly, I think they hated each other just because they had the same name.
That sounds like something stupid that would happen at our high school.
and
I fully believe it.
I remember. I seriously remember. They just everyone was like fight. Like, okay, we're gonna fight. And they just started fighting, and they literally just started hugging and like grinding on the ground and like kind of punching each other slightly. Like, I don't know. I can't visualize it on a podcast. And
I mean, I think you did a good job.
but then the bell rang, and we all had to leave the lunchroom, and everyone was just literally stepping over them.
Yeah.
Because no one gave a shit anymore.
Yeah.
And they just, there was like, it's on the ground fighting each
That's
other.
really good. I remember in 6th grade, one of my friends got in a fight, and the way it started was another kid came to had a piece of pizza and just slapped him across the face with like this shitty cafeteria pizza.
Kids are stupid.
I know, like kids are mean though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I got granted, I mean I can't think.
I never did anything like this.
Yeah, like I mean we were very good kids. That, like I was never in a fight. I never got detention. I got moved to yellow light once in elementary school.
Yeah,
and that's
I
because
cried when it happened.
that was because I got mad
I
at
did
one
too.
I got mad at one of my
Same.
friends, and I kept calling him another name, not his name, not a bad name, just another name, and he started crying because he went and shared the Legos.
One time I got moved to red light, but everybody got moved red light because something.
She was mad.
Yeah, no, she was mad.
I had the same story like
something
that.
happened.
Bitch.
She got really mad, so she was like, "You're all on red light except for one person." I'm like,
me.
Yeah, that happened to us too. It was one of those Christmas event type things, and we were practicing. And our class, for some reason, I was sitting there. And me and 3 other people were just sitting there, not even doing anything, not laughing, not doing. We were just waiting on our teacher. Our teachers were outside, and they had like literally 5 or 6 different classes. I mean, there was like at least 60 elementary school kids in this one classroom that they had just cleared out all the tables in, and they used to just practice sing like Christmas songs and Up on the House,
Click, click.
And
Could you imagine if the dad was around when we were in elementary school? Okay, go
I was
on.
sitting there because I was like, no, I'm not gonna get in trouble. And these little kids, they just started on all fours, started running around barking like they were dogs.
Of course.
And it was just our class.
Relatable.
It was just our class.
Colt still does
And I was
that.
like, oh no. And I was like, stop, guys. You're gonna get us in trouble. And of course, teacher walks in and is like, what are y'all doing? You know what? We're going back to the classroom. Everybody up. And we get to the classroom and said, you guys have been real bad. You're all getting on red. And I was like, and I started crying. I was like,
Now that I think about it, they moved us like to different colors for the stupidest reasons.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Kids
it's
do
just
that stuff normally in high school. And like they're like,
Yeah,
get your
kids just-
desk, you little shit. Stop.
That is true. I have a very... Oh, shit, I lost my story.
well, I was just gonna kind of to add on
Go
to
on.
mine. One kid did one thing, and I remember it was so fucking scary because she took us out all like she
Shooting range?
No, she took us out in the. It was essentially like she'd taken us all out in the hall talking with us, and if we didn't say what she wanted to hear or whatever, she'd be like, "You're lying. Move your thing to red light, and I'm gonna check."
Was this at the
Your
school we
breasts
all
look
went
lush.
to, or the
No,
school
no, no, this
you
was
went to in California? Or not California, the other school
in
you went to here.
Northport,
Ew.
Northport,
I
whatever.
should
Yeah.
never say that name.
But yeah. And now thinking about it, well, go ahead.
No, you go. You
No,
go.
just going ahead. I was just thinking like, man, these teachers are bitches.
Every teacher is mean. No, I just remembered one of the best school stories I have. Freshman year, and I would say this is actually right before me and Cody like started hanging out again, because Cody was in high school, I was in middle school. He kind of just became disconnected because of that, and he moved and whatever. But I remember freshman year, last day of high school, I walk in to take my final, and all the final was a notebook check, whatever. And I was so nervous.
Thank you to those teachers, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God bless. But I was so nervous because I'm like, I'm missing one of these paper, and I think each paper was worth like, God, I don't like 11 points or whatever. So like, if you were missing one, B. I was like, shit. I was so nervous. Well, my younger brother had just graduated from 5th grade the night prior, so we had like a little get together at the house, and my mom made some 7-layer Mexican dip.
I don't know this.
And I was like, ooh, I'm going to eat this. And it was really good. And I remember I went to school, and I knew I didn't feel good because all I wore to school that day was a pair of gym shorts, T-shirt, and socks and slides, because that's what you did in high school.
Yeah.
You wore socks and slides every day. You didn't have to drive. But anyways, and then I go to the room, and I always said her name. Miss What's-Her-Face goes, oh, good morning, Tanner. And I just look at the trash can and go, ugh. I threw up all of the only time I ever threw up in school. And I remember she was like, oh my goodness. She just did she was a very sickly lady, and she's just like, oh my goodness. And I remember this other girl, the one girl in our class, gave me a piece of gum because I was like, my breath smelled atrocious. I just threw up a pound and a half of 7-layer bean dip. So I started chewing the gum. And I remember she was like, you can go to the nurse. She was like, but you have to take the trash with you. I was like, I'm not touching that. I just threw up in that. She was like, I was like, get the janitor, which is a very dick thing of me to do. But I was
I think it was the janitor's job.
sure, but I was like 14. I was like, get the janitor in here to do it. I'm not touching it.
I personally would probably take it out myself just because I'm like, you know what?
Well,
Yeah.
But you're
It's
sick.
not the janitor's. It's not the janitor. Well, I mean, if you're actually like physically sick to where you can't, because usually when you
No,
puke,
after I threw up, I was fine.
yeah, but sometimes when you puke, you're just like, you're just fucking dead. And
That was me.
that was you.
I breathed super hard. But
no,
yeah.
there was by the
It was
way,
a ghost.
Speaking of Wenzel breathing hard, there were times in that podcast that we did for the SCI podcast
Where I was like-
where he had the mic right here, and he was like,
fuck yeah, no.
That's really good.
and I was
content.
like, that's the reason sometimes you would just see me, and I didn't want to do it too much because I was afraid the guys we were interviewing would be like, why is he moving his mic away from his mic? But I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, well, I don't want to be like, hey, let's interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, I noticed that because I would hear it or not hear it, but I would just pick up on it and I'd be like,
So everybody who's listening to this right now, go to the SCI podcast, give us a like, review, and listen for Wenzel's breathing.
Yeah, everybody listen. But anyways, back to the throw up story. And I remember she was just like, you can leave your notebook here. And I went there. We went to the nurse's office. I remember Cody was a nursing assistant in there. And we just watched memes for like an hour and a half because we were on the block schedule. So we had 4 classes, 96 minutes. And I remember I walked back in there because I was leaving because that was the only final exam I had to take. So I was leaving. And I walked in there, and I look at my notebook. She just gave me 100. She didn't look at it,
Nice.
but she just gave me 100 on it, and I was just like, "Thank you so much." And she was awesome. I was a good kid, whatever. And she was just like, "Oh," she was like, "No, don't mention it. See you next year." Blah blah blah. Was still one of my favorite teachers ever. But so I took the notebook and I just walked down the hill from our high school to the elementary school and got my grandparents' car. I was like, I just had the weirdest day. Yeah. That was my story. Not funny or anything, but
there
just
was
very weird.
there's a fight story I have. This happened.
Hell yes.
Gosh, I think this happened also our senior year. I can't see. I want to use a fake name, but honestly, when I think about it, probably every fake name I would use. Everybody there.
Just tell me the name right now.
No. Just still use a fake name.
Gosh.
Say Colt. Use Colt.
Just say Colt fought Colt.
Okay, Colt. Colt is a big boy, and he decides to fight somebody. I can't remember who.
Oh, no.
And like he fights him, beats the shit out of him. Friends try to join in, beat the shit out of him. Assistant principal comes in. She, what's her name? She tries to stop the fucking fight.
Yeah.
Jumps on this kid's back. Looks like a goddamn baby koala being swung around as this kid is fighting multiple kids.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there because we almost couldn't get. No, this is junior year. Yeah, and we almost couldn't get to our classes because there was a huge group, and it was just the funniest shit ever. And then Coach, what's his name, was there, and he's standing there saying, "Stop it!"
Hey, don't fight.
A lot of times as coaches, they would just let it go.
Yeah, no. I remember I had a teacher in middle school that was like, if you guys get in a fight, I'm giving you 3 minutes. And he was like, after that, you're going to the office. I was just, and I remember thinking at the time, I was like, 3 minutes? Somebody could do some fucking damage in 3 minutes. Like, this was agro science. Like, there was fucking saw blades in there. Like, somebody could die in 3 minutes. Like, if somebody was going for the kill, somebody could die in 3 minutes.
I saw a fight one time between this guy. Oh, this is my ultimate story from school.
Okay. I think this is the story we need to wrap up on because we're going a little long.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
we're
ahead.
headed 46 minutes, but it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right, so I was in, I believe 8th grade, and we were in this math teacher's class, and there was, in this story, I should say there were two guys and a girl, and I should say that the math teacher wasn't there. We had a very awesome substitute. He was
I thought you were going to say it was Jonathan's mom.
He was an interesting guy. No, it wasn't Jonathan's mom. Although Jonathan's mom did follow her ass in 5th grade, and we all laughed.
What a fun short story.
The family is just cursed for.
really. But continue.
So guy A.
It's all the way in my room. Door's locked. I don't know.
Okay, so we have guy A and guy B, and then you have girl. So, girl walks in the classroom. Guy A takes the hand of guy B and slaps her ass.
Nope.
As
I know who you're talking about.
As she's going to sit down.
Yep.
Guy B is a very quiet guy. Guy A is an a-hole. Guy B, the girl turns around and Guy B gets fucking slapped as hard as she can. Smack him as hard as he can. His nose, I don't know if his nose broke or what happened. All I know is that blood just started pouring out of
Guy
his
B.
nose.
Poor Guy B.
Guy B got really messed up. And Guy A was just started laughing. And then the girl turns around and is like, "Why are you laughing?" He's like, "That was me. That was all me. Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay, dude?" And he's like, "No, I'm not fucking okay." And like the substitute wasn't in there. He comes walking in and he sees that this is going on and this kid is bleeding everywhere. And he's like, oh shit. And he has to go outside of the room, classroom, and it's like, I gotta go get a janitor. You need to go to the nurse. What? And he goes to the janitor who sees in the hallway, gets a thing of paper towels, brings it in. He's like, I'm queasy around blood. I can't be around blood.
The sub?
Yeah, the substitute. Substitute from the doorway lobs the fucking paper towels into the room and makes the dude who's bleeding everywhere clean it up.
Oh man.
And he ends up. All three go up to the principal's office, and guy A and guy B get suspended.
That's not fair.
That's not fucking fair.
Hey,
Oh,
you know what?
Goodness.
You start a fight.
Wait, hold
All
on.
he did was mind his own business. Oh no.
Now
this
I'm
guy's
mad. We gotta
taking
end.
my-
Well, there's just one more thing.
Okay.
This is very
sorry.
quick. It's not that big.
Thanks
but
for breaking the audio. by the way.
Eighth,
I got mad.
eighth grade. Remember when Borderlands 2 came out? Gosh, this
That was
second,
the first night I ever met you.
yeah, second semester. I remember we had a substitute for a long time in this class, and he was super young dude, super chill. He apparently used to be an MMA fighter, and just walk over, and he's on the computer, and we were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, looking up walkthroughs for a video game, and I just see Borderlands 2, how to get the legendary weapons. Like, this guy's cool.
Wenzel, you couldn't have told that story earlier. What a wet.
I know.
The whole Wenzel's bad storyteller just came to fruition.
So for your back to school supplies, you need toilet paper and a helmet
Or diapers.
or diapers.
Just if you're in school, just scream.
Scream.
Just scream as loud as you can, and something funny will probably happen.
You college kids.
I'm not.
I winked.
Let me get into plugs.
I honestly think the most important lesson to take out of this is, if we know anything from Jonathan's story, it doesn't matter if you're in high school or college. Don't go in the fucking bathroom.
Yeah, don't use the
bathroom's
bathroom.
cursed.
That's actually a really good, just like only use the bathrooms in your house or a
Yeah,
trusted
your house
household.
or a friend's house is the only house that you can
Yeah,
trust.
I can't wait till we tell the bathroom stories from our own house podcast.
Shit. Literally again. Okay, anyways. Thank you everybody for listening to whatever this was. The back to school story, shit story. I don't
think
even
we
know.
forgot about school halfway through.
I feel like halfway through we sort of lost the
All words
plot.
about school. Though.
I mean, they all wrapped around to school, but let's be honest. School was a afterthought for about 20 minutes there. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at AYCH Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at AYCH
I'm gonna play
Podcast.
with stickers. So sorry.
Yeah, you can listen to us on SoundCloud. All You Can Hear Podcast. We're on iTunes and Google Play Music. Both of those, All You Can Hear Podcasts. Listen to those. Review us, rate us, subscribe to us if you like the podcast. Tell your friends about us. That helps us
Yeah.
out tremendously. That's the best way we can get support right now.
Show us to your grandma, especially this episode.
Yeah.
This episode.
If there's one episode I say let your grandma listen to, it's this episode.
Future employers,
But-
I'm a good worker.
But
Just know, in any of these stories, we weren't the people doing the bad things. Just
Oh,
know
yeah, that-
we
well,
weren't the bad kids.
Bad things happen to us.
Bad things happen to us,
no,
though.
true. But the biggest way you can support us right now is just retweeting when the podcast goes live, or rating us on iTunes. Thank you. I have been Tanner, one of your 4 co-hosts. You can follow me on Twitter at Tanner1495.
And I'm Cody, and you can follow me at CODDOC11 on both Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Wenzel. You can follow me at Winsy Wilkie on Twitter. But also, if you have any topics besides shit, because we talk about shit for the past 40 fucking minutes in this episode, if you have any topics that you want to send us, email us, or say something to us on Twitter, tell us. We're trying to focus more. It's going to be really fun. Yeah.
We'll literally talk about anything, as this podcast is prime example of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can follow me, Colt, on Twitter at ColtD88. Also, if you want to scream at me on some video games, hit me up on PlayStation Network at ColtD99.
Plugging your PS in?
I'm plugging it. I'm getting mad platinums. I got 2 platinums in 3 days over the last week.
Oh, my God.
Okay, well, thanks for listening. Cody's looking at his phone, so he can't end the podcast yet. But I really need him to hit that stop recording button right about now.
How about that problem?